It's been a minute, but we're back on with an episode that I've tried to organize for a little while. And that's how things go. We got to try and organize schedules, etc., etc. But I'm really excited about this because hopefully I'm going to get taken back to my early days of starting CrossFit, because we have a person on that is in the phase that I would call the honeymoon phase.
Definitely.
Timmy Porter, welcome to the show.
Mate, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. I'm glad I finally got to organize this.
We got there.
Yes. Now, my very first question is going to be simple. How long have you done CrossFit for now? And tell me about when you originally decided to come into the gym.
Okay, so I've been doing CrossFit now for 7 months, almost to the day. Yep, 7 months and 2 days.
You're hitting the best time. 6 months to 2 years is the best time.
Yep. 3 months was hard.
Confusing?
Yep. Confusing and taxing and
sore,
struggling to finish every workout.
Yeah.
But
now you're on a roll, hey?
Yeah.
Got your bar muscle up?
Got that. Yep.
How exciting was that?
I know. So good.
Does it feel weird? I'm trying to remember when I got mine, which is, years ago, but I do have this recollection of when I'm not able to do it, it feels like it's so high. Like, how am I going to get from here to up there? That feels like such a long distance.
You're dead right. That's exactly the headspace. I could kind of do your chin-ups and pull-ups relatively okay, and then you look at it and you think, oh, that can't be that hard. And then you try one. You go, yep, yeah, no, it is that hard.
Why can I not do it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you did it, what happened?
It's a bit surreal. You think, oh, that's awesome. The whole journey is sort of punctuated with pieces like that you can get satisfaction out of.
Yeah.
From a skills perspective. So yeah, the muscle up is a key one for that.
And did you get it in a morning class? Was it, or I can't remember?
Yeah, morning one with Sean.
Were you surprised when you ended up on top of the bar?
Yeah, I was. yeah, because they kind of space them out, don't they? They have workouts. You might go for 2 weeks without doing muscle up training or anything. So.
But then you do stuff that probably you might not even think about, but that does help your strength to get up there, or even just the movement efficiency. Yep. And then suddenly you, bam, there was a video and you came up on top. Yeah. So let's go back then to before you came into a CrossFit gym, because I believe our gym was the first one that you started at. What did you do for training, and what made the change for you where you were like, I kind of want to look for something else maybe?
So I didn't do any training prior to this at all. So I was completely green. It was a really cold July morning when I started. Yeah. And for me at least, it was I wasn't doing any sort of...
No running, no nothing? A little bit of surfing?
A little bit of surfing, but I'm not a crash hot surfer, so it wasn't like that.
Bit of paddling?
Yeah, a little bit of paddling.
I know the feeling.
Or a lot of paddling. And, yeah. So I came in July, and
why did you decide to go in?
I've got 4 kids, and I run my own business, and life is busy, and I'd sort of fallen into some unhealthy habits. And I just needed a circuit breaker for that to kind of reset for myself. So I looked. A good friend of mine suggested CrossFit. He said he'd been doing it at Chatswood for 5 years, and I'd been trying to get him to come surfing with us a little bit. And he said, "Yeah, I'm doing my CrossFit in the mornings. That's like a sacred time for me."
So what did you think the first time you heard CrossFit, like the word CrossFit?
When I heard that from him, I was like, come on, mate. Like, surely you get just as much out of surfing as you would from CrossFit. And he said, no, it helps me with my mobility. It helps in all other areas. It's just part of my lifestyle now. So I sort of heard that maybe 6 months, 12 months before I even stepped foot into CrossFit Athletic.
Which is now the Mona Gym.
Which is now the Mona Gym. So, yeah, that's
usually how long it takes. That I hear that often, because it's not like you hear CrossFit and then the next day you go and Google it and then in the afternoon you're in the gym. It takes time for you to discover it yourself a bit, right?
Yeah.
Because generally when people recommend something, and it might not even be a gym or fitness, it's like, oh yeah, like you listen to the recommendation but you don't really take it on board. But then as you hear it again and again, or it just like comes from different angles, you think about it, and that's when you slowly start to like creep towards taking that first step.
That's it. That's it. I also think that with in terms of whatever fitness sort of path people decide to choose, it's kind of like dieting and nutrition and stuff. There's so many options.
Confusing.
It is confusing, yeah. Unless, you've come from an athletic background to begin with and you're really aware of it. But for someone like my first session, I had to be shown how to do a burpee because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't do a sit-up the first session I was in. I couldn't do a sit-up for, the first several sessions. But
that's not uncommon at all. That's and especially with guys actually struggling with sit-ups. When I used to work as a trainer, I would see more females be like better at sit-ups just coming off the street than a guy would be often. So yeah, that's completely normal. Yeah. And hey, you don't have to be that fit then to come into the gym, right? Like that's another thing people often get confused with. It's like, no, I can't go into a CrossFit gym because I have to be fit before and I've got to do this and that. But it sounds like you just hadn't done anything, right?
Yeah. I heard that from Zen just this week. He said he's got a mate who's been struggling to get motivated, I think, at one of the other gyms, and he's been trying to get his mate along. And I think the misconception is that everyone's just completely shredded and just unbelievably fit. And we certainly have people here that fit that description, but it's not an intimidating element.
I guess it can be the first time you come in, right? Because you don't know anyone. And did you know anyone when you came into the gym? You had no friends there from before, hey? But how different is it now, 6 months later?
Yeah, chalk and cheese.
Yeah. Explain that. Like, what is it like now for you to come into the gym and see everyone?
Oh, it's so familiar now. You incrementally get to know different people, and the sort of friendships or relationships you have with those people just like any relationship just form more layers.
It keeps developing, right?
Keeps developing.
Yeah.
And it's not like anything I've experienced.
Yeah. In a gym setting. So let's go back to your first session. Tell me some details about how that was. Who was your trainers? Who did you meet in that session and stuff?
Mick was my first trainer.
Mick Infinity,
Yep. So he was great, and And
were you nervous coming in, like getting out of the car and like taking the first step into the gym?
Yeah, a little nervous. I'd kind of braced myself. I was prepared to. It didn't bother me that I was going to be the most unfit person there, or that I'd be lifting tiny little weights and stuff like that. I just didn't care.
You had prepared your mindset then, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Like, I was more than happy to be at the bottom of the pile for as long as that would take. So yeah, we went in and we did the warm up that day. Was I went on a run with Ollie and Murray and LT.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I struggled to get through the warm up, and like Ollie's.
He's pretty good at running.
Oh, mate, he was sprinting for the whole thing, and I really felt like the lethargic thing at the end that just tripped over the gym gates on the way back through. Yeah.
And the briefing and stuff, was that confusing, or how was Mick's briefing of the workout?
Pretty good. Yeah.
You knew roughly what you had to do?
Yeah. And look, I think for everything. For every element, I was never in a position where I felt like I was floundering or, completely unaware of what to do. If you're unaware, you just ask him, and they're sort of over to help you pretty quickly.
Yeah. There can be some. I do think about that quite often, because when new people come into the gym, I forget that there's so many words and expressions and stuff that we do, like AMRAPs and EMOMs, and that most people in here, they just know automatically what that is. But that in the beginning, the vocabulary can be a bit confusing, because it's all new for most, right?
Yep.
So do you remember what kind of exercises you had to do, and how did you go during the class?
I don't remember all of it. I remember being on the rowing machine.
Yep.
And I just remember what I understand now is like panic breathing.
Yeah.
And just struggling and sort of glancing either side of me and watching these people just cruise really easily on these machines, and just their numbers and meters just seem to rack up so much faster than mine.
Yeah.
That's the only recollection I got.
Yeah, if you're not used to being on the rowing machine, you're generally very inefficient in the beginning. I guess my advice would just be try and relax a little bit more. Don't go out too hot, because you're gonna hit the wall pretty quick.
Yeah.
But here's a question. I guess if you look back to when you started, what advice would you give yourself then, now in hindsight, if you could go back and watch Timmy do that first class in the 6-7 months ago? What advice would you give yourself now?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't think I'd change a hell of a lot, because I think what worked for me was that there used to be a sign on the wall that said, leave your ego outside, or something to that effect.
Yeah, leave your ego at the door.
Leave your ego at the door, something like that. I didn't have an issue with ego, because I had nothing to have an ego about, right? I couldn't do any of the movements, and the ones I could do, I couldn't perform all that well anyway. So that wasn't an issue. But I think that works. Just having that mentality works really, really well.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to come in with that mentality. Yeah. If not, you're making it way, way harder for yourself, I think.
Yeah.
And were you sore after that first session? How did you pull up?
Yeah, so that'd be the other piece of advice I reckon I'd give is, I definitely had the attitude that I would be back the following day, and I still remember, somebody saying, "Yep, I think I spoke to Sean on the phone actually. He checked in to see how the first session went, and I obviously said, "Yep, good. Looking forward to it tomorrow." He's like, just give yourself a bit of time if you need it.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Because what I think is happening is that you came in with a great mindset. You were like, okay, I'm attacking this. So your motivation is super high. And then when people start a new project like that, right, it's like, all right, let's just hit it, guns blazing. This is going to happen. But the problem is a lot of people forget the muscle soreness, and starting gradually, making it very manageable to achieve X amount of sessions in your first week, let's say 2. It's probably a better idea than to think, I'm going to go in Monday till Friday.
2, I reckon, is ideal.
Yeah. Give yourself a little bit of a breather.
If you were starting from no fitness base like me, I would say train Monday and Thursday. Yeah. I think that's great advice. Try and do that for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then get your third. Go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That'd be my tip. Make it simple. Make it so easy that you can't miss your target. I think if you go in thinking you're going to train Monday till Friday without any previous exercise experience, or let's say in the last couple of years, you're just going to hit the wall so quickly. Yeah. Because now, 6 months later, how many times do you train a week? 4. Yeah. I shoot for 4. Awesome. Yeah. So you've done 4 days between Monday and Friday this week, right? Yeah. So this week we did the fundraiser for the bushfires on the Saturday. Yep. Bit sore after that one? Quite sore after that. It's a little bit of an unusual session. Yeah. It's not your average. Unlike my first few weeks of CrossFit, I wasn't the only one who felt sore after that. So that made me feel a little bit better. Yeah. Monday, so didn't train Monday, then train Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, awesome.
So I can string them consecutively.
Yeah,
now.
and you function generally fine during the day after,
Good.
right? It's like you're better. It's not like you're hobbling around being super sore.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that brings me to another question I'd love to ask is, how is your energy level not during training, but during your day-to-day life now after you've trained for 6 months compared to back before you started?
It's one of the massive benefits. Yeah, I kind of figured you might ask me some questions relating to the positives.
Yeah, we like to keep it positive.
Yeah, I like to keep it positive.
Not all just muscle soreness.
Yeah, and certainly, look, if it wasn't positive, I wouldn't still be here. But I think energy levels is massive. So how I feel mentally, and then how I feel with respect to energy. Like energy for my life, and I reckon lots of other people, it's like the holy grail. The more energy you have, the more you can maximize what's in front of you for the day. It's everything, whether it's your work life or your family, your kids, your extracurricular stuff like surfing. It's golden. So my energy levels improved overnight. When I started, I'd definitely get periods of being like body fatigued throughout the day, but mentally, even in the early weeks, mentally just supercharged versus what I was.
I think that is a big misunderstanding, right? People think they're going to come in here and train and then, but then I feel so flat during the day.
It's the opposite. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I feel worse when I don't train.
Yeah, I do, 100%. And I never learnt that until 6 months ago. And I'm 36 years old now, so it's taken me a while to figure it out.
Yeah, it's never too late, right? Like the current age doesn't really matter. I think it's the same for a 50-year-old person training and getting energy back compared to a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
If not even more efficient when you're older, because when you're young, you got energy anyway, I think.
So, to one of your earlier questions about and comments about you being really motivated before you start, for me, I found I was motivated to do something better with my life for myself. But I found that my motivation levels rose after joining because of the environment and because of the people. And you've got living, breathing examples of human beings in front of you that are just doing the lifestyle thing really successfully. You know, we've got a range of people in here, but I'd consider a lot of successful people professionally, and you know they're not. I used to burn the candle at both ends with my work life, so working really, really late in the evenings, and then waking up tired and lethargic and not eating well and all the rest of it. And it wasn't until I put a stake in the ground and said, no, I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to do CrossFit to make an investment in my own health, that other parts of the equation actually perform better.
Yeah, it's what they call a keystone habit. We talk about that a lot. And
okay.
Generally, a keystone habit can be anything, but often it's training or fitness, if you want to call it, and diet and nutrition. If you dial those two things in, those keystone habits can have massive improvements on your other aspects of life. So your work, your relationships, your family, all that stuff.
100%.
But those two things are generally very important. And if you don't have them in a good space, then usually everything else suffers.
The wheels sort of fall off a bit.
Yeah. It's tough. And that's, I mean, to your point, what you're saying is like, you got to invest in yourself first, because that's how you get energy and space to help others or to be there for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're struggling yourself, it's like you really can only just look after yourself. You got to get yourself better first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think initially the feelings of just locking away specific time for yourself when you've got young children and work and all the rest of it, it almost goes against what you feel you should be doing. You feel like, well, I need to provide more for the family, so I've got to just work. Or when I'm not working, it's got to be specifically spending time with the kids. You almost feel like it's a little bit selfish to go and invest that time in yourself until you have that sort of penny dropping moment where you realise that, no, without investing in myself, the other parts of my life that rely on me performing don't benefit.
It sounds like your friend that trains in Chatswood had that dialed down. Like his morning training was non-negotiable, even to go out surfing with your friends, which I think is like, that's like, I would always go out and surf with my friends. Exactly. But like for him, right, he's put that in his diary probably, and that time is non-negotiable.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you now, you train in the mornings as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What time?
5:30 to 6:30.
5:30 a.m. This is a question I always ask for the 5:30 a.m.ers. When you started here, did you think you were going to train at 5:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
You have to do it for work, right?
I have to do it for work, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your work and where it is.
I run a wholesale nursery, so I grow plants for a living.
You got green thumbs?
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoy it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love growing plants. So indoor plants and succulents we grow. I've got a 7-acre farm out west. So yeah, 5:30 a.m. is going in before work. And
do you shower here and go straight to work, or
you get to go home? Haven't actually. No, I've got an office there, so I just jump in the car after the session here and shower there.
Yeah, awesome. I think I actually work a little bit with a company called HostLink, and we do garden related stuff as well. And being around plants and nature is something that's coming more and more back in, because us as humans, we're meant to be quite connected to nature, right? And being out in the garden can have such a good effect on your mentality, like your mental health in a way. Do you find that as well, or growing stuff?
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, see, I can't stay in the office for too long. I can maybe get away with a couple of hours, and then I'll go and just do some physical stuff in the nursery with the plants. Be
out, see the blue sky, green plants, like
sun, and
it's awesome. Yeah. If you're in under that like office light for too long, which happens to me because I edit videos and stuff like that, you just go, a bit blurry in the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you had your business for?
15 years. I started when I was 20.
Did you take it over from your parents or something, or did you buy it?
No. Yeah, it was a family business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they ran a distribution business, and they needed a growing arm of it, which I started. So,
what is your favorite plant? Do you have one?
Oh.
Let me ask another one first while you think about that. What would you recommend for me to get in the office? And I don't have green thumbs.
Okay.
So I don't want to kill it.
Wow. This is a good one, actually. So I actually thought about it for this place. I did a range of products based on the NASA studies they did in the 80s for plants that process chemical compounds out of the atmosphere. And
so they clean the air, you mean?
They clean the air. Yeah.
Yep.
So they filter the harmful chemicals out of the air. So things like benzene and stuff that will come off photocopiers and whatever. There are certain plants that work better. They're more efficient at filtering those chemicals.
I need this at my desk.
So yeah, I'd be putting plants like that in.
Which ones? Give me some examples.
Sansevierias are good.
Are they the long, thin, kind of not a cactus, but I think I know which ones they are. They're like lighter green color on the edges and then darker green in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I know which one.
Mother-in-law's tongues.
Okay.
Is what the common name is.
And they survive well in an office space. Yes,
very
perfect.
hardy. You'll get away with watering them once every 3 months.
Wow. Okay, I can surely manage that.
Yep. So they're good. English ivy is a really good one.
Okay.
So, or devil's ivy is another really good one. Easy to grow and excellent at filtering the air.
Yeah. What are the price points on some of these? I actually have been looking a little bit online. I see plants pop up on Facebook Marketplace for some reason. I must have clicked on one once.
Okay.
And then some are like super cheap, like $15-$20, and then some are like $200. How does pricing work in the plant market?
Most of it comes down to how difficult it is to grow or how long it takes. Okay. So it's all about how many. It's like a real estate game, really. How many turns per square meter?
Yeah,
is the aim of the game.
Wow. What's the most expensive one that you have? Generally.
Oh, the Sansevieras are pretty expensive.
Are they? Oh, yeah. Damn. That's the one you recommended.
The catch is the slower they are to grow, typically the slower they are to die, which means they'll hold up.
But they're more expensive because they're slower to grow.
Yeah.
So that's why a bonsai tree would be very expensive sometimes.
Yep.
It's years and years. All right. So what is your favorite?
Oh, I don't know if I'd be able to put my finger on one that's a favorite.
It's always an unfair question, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we swap it back onto the training, what is your favorite part about training right now, or like favorite movements and stuff that you enjoy doing?
Oh, I like the gymnastic stuff is really interesting because it takes you, it challenges you in a different way, and it's I think more mentally stimulating than some of the other things.
Yeah.
And from like as you said, I'm in this honeymoon period, which is awesome. You know, you feel like a hero. You're putting on like an extra 10 pounds every week on some of these things, but I'm now at 7 months capping that out. It's
plateauing a little bit more now. Because you're right. Like in the beginning, your progressions are so steep because everything is new, but you've got a good base now and you're fairly athletic, and then so you're progressing. But at some point, that's gonna not continue as much.
That's it.
Tell you that, and sometimes it goes back a little bit if you do it for 10 years, but that's fine too. Been doing it for too long. So, do you mean with gymnastics? Do you mean like handstands and anything on the pull-up bar and stuff like that?
Yeah. So what I perceive that even though I'm at this honeymoon period, I think I'm still just as excited as I was 4 months ago, because there's still so many incremental levels that you can progress.
Absolutely.
And I was thinking about it, not that I've done any of these other forms of fitness out there, so I can't comment too much on F45 or other circuit-based training, but the element of CrossFit where you have those little levels of progression.
Skill progression.
Yeah. But embedded in the skill progression is still control over your muscles and all the rest of it. So you sort of have to, like the muscle ups, there's definitely a skill element there that I think we benefit hugely from our coaches. They're very good at communicating how to operate your body in order to achieve those movements. But you still need to build the muscle. Is it muscle memory or? Yeah,
muscle memory in a sense. Like you need to build the mechanics into your body, or the mechanics of the movement. For some, that doesn't come natural straight off the bat, and it takes a little while.
Yeah.
Because some people can have the strength and roughly the skill to do a bar muscle up, but then they get one and then they miss one, and they get one and then they miss one. So the mechanics in the body hasn't been implemented well or solidly enough. It takes time, right? It's like, let's say, practicing a musical piece. Some people can maybe play it once, but maybe not perfect. And then after a while, as you practice, artists, they can just play it blindfolded perfectly, right, at some point. So it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say the snatch is the Olympic lifting is probably even a better example, because often in the first couple of years, you can have a good lift, a bad lift, and a good lift and a bad lift. So you're at like 50-50, whether or not it's going to go well. And then that percentage, as you train and practice and spend hour upon hour, that percentage goes up and up and up. And then Olympic weightlifters obviously do their best at a comp when they're under pressure. So they're like close to 100%, right?
Yeah.
It's fun. But that, to your point there, I think that is a major difference between a gym like ours, a CrossFit style gym, and to a lot of the other fitness gyms, is that we allow time and a lot of coaching into progressing your skills.
Yeah.
So you're not always coming in here just to flog yourself for a 45-minute cardio session or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's, and we do that as well. But sometimes you come in, right, and work on a skill for 15 minutes or whatever. Yeah. How do you, is that how you, would describe it? Like, how do you feel the variation in the classes are here?
It's structured in a way that I can see myself not getting bored I'll rephrase it. I was going to ask Sean earlier in the new year about goal setting. And I think Tash was there at the same time, and she said, yeah, it's goal setting's a really interesting topic, but you've got to be, it's really good if you can enjoy the journey on the way there. And it just changed, just that one comment changed the way I viewed that whole subject. So you might have the end goal of snatching a certain weight or getting a bar muscle up, but the journey to get to that point is each session you do is incrementally bettering yourself, and I just enjoy that process.
That's such a great point, because goals are, I think, important. At least have some kind of idea around what your goals are, but it's a very small part of the equation. Similar sense to when we competed in CrossFit, the actual competition is a very small percent of what you're doing.
Okay.
All the training that goes behind it, that's the 95% of everything. And if you don't enjoy that 95%, just to enjoy those 5% of competing, I think you're doing something wrong. And I had another person on my podcast, I think it was Scott, that talked about some of the coaching that he does with triathletes. And so for a triathlete, the end goal is to complete a triathlon.
Yep.
Makes common sense. And then, but the goal for Scott wasn't to get the client to complete the triathlon. It was for the client to, yes, finish the triathlon, but enjoy it. So coming in the finish line and be like, well, that was a fun experience.
Yep.
Not to come in across the finish line and just be dying and just be like, that was horrific. Because then the whole journey and the whole lead up and everything has kind of been wasted. You're obviously going to be tired at the end of a triathlon, and that's fine. You can be, flat on your back and just exhausted. But I think we've all been through some physical exertion where it's like, oh, I feel that was so good. You feel alive even though you're dead tired. Or maybe on the opposite end is like you're just so exhausted and so tired and just like hated it and like, hey, I don't really want to do that ever again.
Yep.
That's two very different things, and that's where the saying comes, right? Like the journey is almost more important than the end goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think if you took a cross section of everybody that's here, there's a common thread through everybody, which is improving themselves. There are subtle variances in everyone. Some are a lot more competitive than others, but that's pretty well the common thread, I think, through everybody at the gym. They're all trying to better themselves in some capacity, and that's the enjoyment out of it. There's everybody, irrespective of your level or strength or fitness level, you can get those moments of personal satisfaction because you can legitimately see improvement.
I think that's a big testament to the community and the environment that Sean and Tash have created at this gym, is that you can straight away noticed that people that are coming in here to train, they're not coming in here to win the workout, which, you know, in some ways how a CrossFit workout is designed, people could win it. Yep. But no one's I never see that on people's attitude. It's like, oh, I'm going to come in here and crush this. This is mine. People come in here to enjoy the training.
Yep.
And then come out of the other end of the hour and be like, oh, that was awesome. I feel better. Because actually now we have the ability to track the numbers and log our numbers on the leaderboard, but almost no one does it because we don't really care about the leaderboard. No. Whereas some CrossFit gyms, and that's I've been part of that kind of community as well before. It's like everyone tracked their numbers automatically, and then they would look at, if you train in the afternoon, they would look at the morning scores and come in and have the attitude to beat the morning score. And that's like, there's positives to that because you push yourself a little bit harder, but then there's a ton of negatives to that as well, where people would like cheat reps and try and get a better time, or just like, so they had that. Yeah. But that's a futile like way to look at it because you're not gaining anything. No. Yeah. And did you ever get the impression here that it was like super competitive or anything like that?
No, never.
Yeah, it's not like that here at all.
Never super competitive. There's, I would say that I like the fact that we have, for lack of a better expression, like an elite level of people here that are competing. Not because I necessarily will compete at any stage myself, but it's, I just feel it's healthy to have these people that are, apart from anything, they're pretty good role models, right? And I remember my first session, going back to that again, I walked in and you know, Zen was
Zenek.
He was lurking around the rig. And I looked over at this bloke and I thought, oh, mate, this is... okay, well, it obviously works. and then I ended up... our kids go to the same school, and I caught up with him. And someone had talked about the CrossFit Open, and I had no idea what that was. And so I asked him, and he showed me on his phone. And he goes, oh, yeah, it's just this thing here, and he's really open and transparent about it. Like he, by all rights, he could have a massive ego, but
he's not like that at all.
He's not like that at all. He was more than happy to talk to me about it. So he showed me on his phone, and he goes, oh, this is me, and I'm in this age group.
Yeah, he's in the masters bracket.
Yep, and that was another penny dropping moment for me, because I'm like, oh wow, you are like 10 years older than me. But I didn't think that when I first met you. I thought you were my age.
Yeah, because of his fitness level.
Because of his fitness level, yeah. And so having those individuals, I think, is a really positive thing, because you can see these people are living this particular lifestyle, and if they're committed and all the rest of it, they're functioning at a level that other people would only dream of.
I guess it pushes the ceiling for us a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Even when we're just training for the health and fitness benefit of it, it's nice to see every now and then, like, people just like getting insane scores or holding a crazy pace on the rower and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I think it kind of preserves the integrity of the, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, it preserves the integrity of the model. If CrossFit's a model and other gym workouts are a different model, it's, I like having staged progression where you can legitimately see how you're going. It's
how
just
you're
a
improving,
reinforcement.
Right? I guess it is a good proof that it's working, and I've seen that a lot. Having been a member of a lot of different CrossFit gyms, it's like you see results everywhere, right? Like that definitely works if you put time and effort and, you know, often years into it, but the level of progression is definitely steeper than at a lot of other different type of gyms, because people are just like, you know, one, motivated in the beginning, but two, if they keep going with the lifestyle and the training, it's just you not going to improve.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Really happy about, where I'm at. I'm nowhere near a lot of other people, but it doesn't bother me because I've just seen improvement in myself.
Yeah, it's relevant for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's relevant for other areas of my life too. I'm surfing better than I've ever surfed in my life.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Because my mobility is better, my core strength is better, so I can be more reactive and I don't get as tired out in the water, so I can surf for longer. So,
it's a big thing.
It's a big thing, yeah. And
it's a massive thing.
Yeah. In terms of living the life that you want to, having that investment of 4 sessions a week, which is 4 hours, 4 hours a week, it's not that much.
It's not much at all, really.
And
for you doing it 5:30 till 6:30, right? It's like doesn't really affect the rest of your day. You still have a massive part of your day left.
Totally. And for me, the 5:30 class reinforces other habits on the back of that.
Go to bed early.
Go to bed early.
Get sleep.
I don't drink alcohol during the week. And I need to eat well.
Yeah. I mean, that leads me into another question. I can't quite remember back when you started. Like, I'm visually trying to remember. But have you had many physical changes externally?
Yeah. So I tracked my weight.
Yep.
Which was really interesting. Previously, I'd never really cared. But I was around 81 kilos when I started. 3 months later, I was 77.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's kind of almost spot on what we want to see. It's like about a kilo. A little bit less, yeah. But you've lost 4 kilos in 3 months. Yeah.
So I went down to 77 in 3 months. Now I'm back up to 83.
Ah, because yes. But so your composition is very different.
It's very different.
Because that's right. When you started, you even, you kind of looked, with your shirt on, it was hard to tell. You just looked lean anyway. Because you, how tall are you? And
6 foot.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So you must feel quite different than, stronger in your body, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, awesome. It influences how I lift and stuff at work and my fatigue levels at work. So even just on a daily basis now, for my 1 hour of investment, it's physically less draining to do stuff with the kids and lifting. I got 4, so quite often I got 1 in each arm. So
what age group are they in? 4 kids?
Yeah, 8, 6, 4 and 2.
Yeah, mate, you've got a lot going on.
Yeah, so energy's awesome.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great. And you've got your wife to start as well.
I did.
Jackie, yeah.
Yeah.
Coached her yesterday. How's she going?
Good. Yeah.
Was it because you were just talking about it all the time at home and she's like, all right, I've got to go.
Yeah. I was, I laid it on pretty thick. Yeah.
And that has her, having seen her yesterday, it looks like she's enjoying it a lot. Is it now a lot of is that the talk at home about training a bit?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's funny to see.
Yeah, we feel like that lame couple that just talks about CrossFit at home. But
yeah,
it's been great. She's it's cool now, me being 7 months on and seeing her go through the same thing. It's really cool.
It's helpful for her, I'm sure, to have you at home, if she has questions that she might be a little bit nervous to ask about or whatever. Not that necessarily happens, but
it's like the blind leading the blind. I just redirect it to somebody like you.
Go back to the gym. Yeah. What was I going to say? So the other topic is that I wanted to ask is, do you feel like your nutrition have changed from when you started till now?
Yeah.
What you're eating?
Yep. So my drinking habits and my food habits changed overnight because they had to. I go back to my motivation levels were maybe 70% when I started, and then they increased well beyond that after I started.
What would a typical week look like before you started, in terms of drinking and maybe the bad food that you ate?
Yeah, so what it would have looked like is I didn't eat heaps of fast food or anything like that, but I definitely didn't care half as much as what I do now. I wouldn't prepare as much, so I'd be a lot more reactive, I guess. So when I was hungry, I'd
whatever's there is there.
Whatever's there is there. And with work, I was waking up later, not by much, like waking up at 6:30 instead of 5 o'clock.
That is a big difference, though. Hour and a half in the morning.
Yeah, it is. But I would have previously always viewed that as, oh well, I'm working less, so that's a problem. You know, I need to be, particularly my own business, I need to be the guy that's there first and last to leave, and
wow, yeah.
And then the guy who's doing paperwork until midnight. So that was sort of the lifestyle for a couple of years.
That is burning the candle at both ends.
And then trying to factor in kids and all that stuff is, so that was really the catalyst for me going, okay, this just doesn't work very effectively for me. I feel I'm 36, but geez, I feel like I'm 60. So I'm just going to put a stake in the ground and I get to work an hour later, but you know, to hell with it. I'll figure that out.
So with that in mind, having explained that, do you feel like you do less at work now?
I reckon I'm more productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm definitely more productive.
So you might be at work an hour less, but when you're at work, like you're working way more efficiently.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's a big thing I see with sleep as well. It drives me crazy because some people say, "Oh, well, sleep less, so you have more out of more hours in the day, and you can work more."
Yeah.
But for me, that's not true at all. Especially being in I think not just for my type of work, but especially being a creative, you have to be switched on with your brain. Like if I'm going to do an editing job, if I'm just half asleep and tired because I didn't sleep enough, I'll do a way worse job.
Yeah.
So you need your sleep and your energy for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having a lethargic mind is it's really ineffective.
It's a good way to annoy people because I get really grumpy if I don't sleep.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your go-to food now? Like, what do you enjoy eating to stay healthy?
I really like cooking, so that makes life pretty easy.
Awesome.
But the shift, I think, because of how hard I found those first few sessions, but I still enjoyed being there. I immediately turned to, okay, what's going to allow me to get back here quicker?
So thinking about recovery more, yeah.
So then the thought of having a beer or a glass of wine the night after training was just pretty well unpalatable.
Yeah.
You just think, no way.
You don't even feel like it, right?
I don't feel like it. Yeah. And I certainly don't feel like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning after doing that. So, that was a big change. And then, just preparing the breakfast and stuff to
give me a specific example of a weekday dinner right now.
A weekday dinner would be, it's really varied. So we cook a little bit of vegetarian stuff. We cook steak and vegetables and.
What's your go-to veggies with a steak?
Just variety, as much color as I can get on there.
That's a good way to look at it.
things like lentils and brown rice and quinoa and stuff. I feel works well for me. I think, the nutrition thing's really
still pretty new, or
I think it's just a really difficult thing to. I think what works for some people doesn't work for others. But
absolutely,
I think the process of being, you almost feel like it's a selfish process to be involved with, because it's like, I want to really focus on what's gonna fuel me better for this and perform better. It's a cool mindset.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
And it's a journey as well, right? Like we said before, you'd never nail down the perfect meal or whatever health-wise, but as long as you keep working on it and you're mindful of it, that's all you need, I think.
Yeah.
Having that attitude. But since you train here in the morning and then you drive straight to work, what do you do for breakfast? Do you prepare that beforehand? And
so I do oats and oats in almond milk and
so overnight oats.
Overnight oats,
yeah,
with typically berries and chia seeds and
yeah.
Do
you put any protein in there or not really?
No.
So just oats, almond milk, berries, and chia seeds. Yeah, chia seeds and oats overnight, and that's Greek so yogurt. Good.
Yeah, Greek yogurt as well. So there's, I haven't tracked the macros in that sort of stuff until recently, but I think that meal looks around 50 grams of protein.
50 grams of protein in there from the milk and the oats?
The milk, the oats, the Greek yogurt, the chia seeds.
Oh, wow.
And the nuts. I put some walnuts
nuts in there. Yeah.
As well.
That is actually quite a high amount of protein.
Yeah.
And I'd say the fats would be up there as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway.
Yeah, awesome. All right. To round it off a little bit, looking at 2020, it's a new year and we talked about goals and everything. Do you have anything that you want to achieve out of your training and kind of on your health journey this year? What's on the horizon?
There's quite a few things.
Awesome.
I've ticked off one of them this week, which is to recover fast enough to do consecutive days. So 4 days consecutively was a box ticked.
Oh, awesome.
For me, without feeling terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't force myself to get in here if I'm really suffering. But
yeah, that's good.
So that was one. So I'd like to just maintain 4, maybe 5 sessions a week, building up to 5 potentially. And just incremental progress. My range of movement on some of the lifting and stuff, I'm trying to get better rather than just stack on heaps of weight. Improve that.
Any lifts in particular? Are you thinking about the squats and stuff?
Squats for the range.
Yeah. Where's your limitation? Do you know? Is it through hips or ankles or?
Hips and hips, I think. Yep.
Tight hips. Very, very common. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That comes though. It just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Especially at our age, it's not easier to improve the flexibility. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a bit of a journey.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
How's your double unders and the
double unders are non-existent. Yeah. Yep. That's just
it's generally a good goal to try and get
single under for myself.
Have you been practicing them or?
No. To be fair, no. I think we had skips in the workout yesterday.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, you had 70 double unders.
Yeah. So my calves were screaming after 35 singles. That
was not a great workout to practice double unders though. You got to pick your day. So sometimes I'd say for the workout yesterday, we wanted you to move for 10 minutes, so running and skipping. So just make it something that's manageable and you can kind of keep going back and forth. But then
Mhm.
some days it's a good day to practice double unders and you get a bit more time. So
Yeah. What do you suggest?
for your goals for
Mm.
training, I like the goal that you already achieved. Increase the amount of training but feel better. So that's a sign of general fitness,
Yep.
right? And improving your squatting, because squatting is a big part in CrossFit. We squat a lot, heaps of different variations. Think about it like we do a thruster, a wall ball, a normal weighted squat, a goblet squat. There's just squatting everywhere.
Yep.
So if you can get that movement pattern better and not be very sore through your quads and everything, that's going to help you a lot, even back to your first goal.
Okay.
So I think those things are great. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any specific recommendations for you. For me, it's a lot about being injury free and just coming in X amount of times during the week.
Yep.
Because I've done it for so long, I'm not trying to set new records with lifts or amount of bar muscle ups or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just staying healthy and staying fit for surfing. That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
'Cause my main goal is to try and get tubed this year. Get
All
some
right.
good barrels.
Awesome.
That's really like number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I failed on my first attempt down in the wave pool in Melbourne, but I'm going back again soon. Be another
Sweet.
stuff. But I don't know if a barrel in the wave pool counts. Does that count as a proper tube?
Yeah, mate, it counts.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But then I think if I get one there, I've got to go and get one in the ocean.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
It's like one of each. So it's probably a dual.
You
goal.
got a trip planned soon, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to Indo in end of March, and then I'm going
Okay.
to Maldives twice. So I've given myself heaps of opportunity to get barreled. Whether
Yep.
or not it happens, we'll have to
So
wait and see.
you've been to the Maldives before?
Twice, yeah, last
Okay.
2 years, yeah. But then
Nice.
I'm doing a double trip this year, and actually one of the trips is with Todd at the gym.
Nice.
So we'll see if he gets
Yeah.
barreled as well.
I've been to the Maldives once.
Matt, on a boat trip.
Yep.
Yeah. How was it?
So
Did you get
good.
good waves.
Got great waves. Yeah.
So
Didn't
nice.
didn't get barreled, but still
Yeah.
just
It's so hard, eh?
it's beautiful.
I don't know how I can train to get barreled. You just got to be out in the ocean. Really,
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
think your
the number one
positioning
thing.
and stuff. So
A little bit of flexibility required to get down, because I don't think I'm going to get a stand-up tube. It's pretty unlikely for my
Yeah.
first one. So being flexible and maneuverable through the tube, that's I think that's the trick.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Tim, that was great.
mate, thank you.
Thank you so much for the chat.
It's my
And,
first and potentially last
For-
15 seconds of fame. So
well,
Thank you.
that's about an hour, and we're definitely going to have you back on in another year or so to see if you're still in the honeymoon phase and if you're still loving it as much as you do
I
now.
suspect I'll probably be completing the honeymoon phase shortly, but
No, I think you got a year and a half.
you reckon?
I say the 6 months, because after 6 months, you understand all the lingo, you know the people at the gym, it's comfortable for you now to come in and train.
Yep.
In the sense that you're familiar with everything. In the first few weeks, you're like, what's a snatch? What's a power snatch? Where's the equipment? Like, 20-pound wall ball, 14-pound wall ball. Like, it's all confusing, right?
Yeah.
But now you've got that down pat, I believe. And then in the next year and a half, you're going to have some crazy progression. But then after that, it starts to plateau real quick, generally, unless you go nuts. And that's when you're back into like a normal, steady routine, which is where I'm at now. Like, I just train more about training and not about doing new stuff at the gym.
Yeah.
Although I am trying to do the back roll into a handstand. So gymnastic thing, I almost broke my neck on that first attempt.
I saw that.
Yeah. That's not
It's a
good.
great video.
So that you do still discover stuff where it's like, I mean, I wouldn't even call that CrossFit. That's a gymnastic thing, purely
Yeah.
gymnastic trick. And I might try and do that, but I need to rest my neck a little bit first. So I don't break it. Anything gymnastics you want to try and achieve this year? You got,
The handstand
10
stuff
months.
is, yeah.
so where are you at now with the handstand? You can kick up to the wall? I assume?
Yeah, kick
Yep.
up to the wall and I can do handstand push-ups
All the way down to the floor?
onto a ab mat.
One ab mat.
Yep.
Yeah. You got long arms though. You got very long arms actually.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you mean maybe more handstand walking or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is a good skill. Where are you at in that progression?
Oh, well, yeah. So the cool thing this week was we did We did like partner assisted handstands.
Yep, the freestanding handstand holds.
Freestanding handstand holds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very different to going against a wall because you get to feel that it's
a little bit more fair, do you mean?
Yeah. There's like you've just got this balance point that you don't really get a recognition of if you're against the wall.
Yeah.
Even kicking off the wall, you don't get as much of an indication of where your body is. Even though I can't hold the handstand properly, at least by having the partner there, you can see and just start to feel where that pendulum point could be if I was strong enough to do it.
You should film yourself a little bit with your phone and
Okay.
see when you kick up to freestanding handstand with a partner, because you're right, it's so different than kicking up against a brick wall, because the brick wall's there, and the biggest thing I often see is people just kick up and then they hit the wall hard.
Yep.
Whereas if you know there's a partner there, and let's say you partner up with a smaller or lighter person or something like that, and you know you can't kick up that hard because they're going to have to catch you and you might kick them in the face.
Yep.
So you need to control the kick up way more and then balance much, much harder through your palm. So do the push and the press to keep your balance. And that's awesome. It's such a great exercise. And it's good to see that in the programming. But then what happens with the thing that I'm trying to do, which is I think the back roll to a handstand, which is another fair level as well, because you're going backwards. And when you start doing that, it feels so weird. I was like, the first time I tried it, I was like, why am I so scared of this? And it's because you're rolling back instead of forward, something I'm not used to.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be impressive when you get there.
But then like that is so basic for a gymnast. That's not even
Yeah.
I think I might butcher this, but I think they rank the skills from, 0 to 10 or something like that.
Right.
And that's not even, I don't even think that's a 0. Like a muscle up is not even a 1, I think, when they do a strict muscle up. It's just how they get up to the rings. So they haven't even started yet. How crazy is that?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
There's so many levels to it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Tim.
Cool, mate. Not
We'll
a
have to
problem.
get you
Thanks
back on
for
at some point.
All right.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.
To watch more videos like this, you can click the next one right up here. And if you want to subscribe, click the link down here.